Tax season? Just hearing the words probably makes your blood pressure spike a little bit, right? The mountains of paperwork, the looming deadlines, it's a lot. But what if I told you that navigating your South Carolina state taxes could actually be fast, convenient, and best of all, totally free? Welcome. Today I'm going to be your personal guide for this explainer, taking what is usually a massive financial headache and breaking it down into a super simple step-by-step journey so you can file online securely and literally at zero cost. Let's get right into it. Okay, I've got to ask the most important question right out of the gate. Are you ready for your refund? Seriously, if you've got money coming back to you from the state, the absolute last thing you want to do is just sit around waiting for it. The techniques we are covering today are basically your magic key to getting those funds into your bank account as fast as legally possible. To really understand why filing online is such a game changer, let's compare it to the old school paper check. According to the South Carolina Department of Revenue, a traditional paper check costs taxpayers 10 times more to process. 10 times. Plus, it takes way longer and carries that terrifying risk of just getting lost in the mail. On the flip side, e-filing, especially when you combine it with direct deposit, is lightning fast, mathematically accurate, and incredibly secure. It's a total no-brainer. So, here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover eligibility and requirements, look at online filing platforms, walk through the step-by-step filing process, troubleshoot some common issues, and finally go over after filing. Section 1. Eligibility and requirements. Now, getting all your documents together before you even sit down at your computer is going to make this process infinitely faster. Think of it like prepping your ingredients before you start cooking. It makes sure absolutely nothing gets missed. You're going to need all your W-2 forms, plus any 1099s that show South Carolina withholding. Actually, quick tip, if you're a non-resident earning income from a South Carolina partnership, keep an eye out for a 1099 MISC specifically marked SC only. You'll also need to verify you have your correct Social Security number right there on hand. Or if you don't qualify for an SSN, you absolutely need your individual taxpayer identification number, your ITIN, from the IRS. Nailing these exact details right on the very first try is the absolute best way to avoid any annoying processing delays. Section 2. Online filing platforms. Okay, so this right here is the absolute golden rule of filing online. You must always use SCDOR-approved filing platforms. The Department of Revenue actively monitors and heavily vets these specific software vendors to guarantee your most sensitive financial data stays completely protected. Going rogue and using unapproved software? Well, that's a guaranteed roadblock, which we'll actually talk about in just a minute. Let's break down your free options because, well, free usually comes with some specific strings attached. Specifically, eligibility brackets based on your adjusted gross income, or AGI. For instance, a platform like 1040 Now is completely free for both your federal and South Carolina returns, but only if your AGI was $32,000 or less. If your income is a bit higher, Free Tax USA lets you file your state return for free if your AGI was $51,000 or less. And here's a really cool one. If you use community-assisted portals like SC Thrive Hub, which securely bridges you straight into TaxSlayer, that AGI cap for free filing jumps all the way up to $89,000. Also, active duty military members frequently qualify for that higher $89,000 cutoff across multiple platforms. So just double-check your AGI and pick the tool that perfectly matches your bracket. Section 3. Step-by-step filing process. Using the super popular SC Thrive Hub as our example, Phase 1 is all about account setup and prep. First things first, you'll create a secure account on their site. Next, you just navigate over to their taxes section and take a super quick eligibility questionnaire. This just confirms you actually meet the free filing requirements. Once you get the green light, you absolutely have to use the specific, securely generated link they give you to enter the TaxSlayer software. That is the magic step that ensures your fees are totally waived. Once you're inside the software, Phase 2 kicks off data entry and submission. My absolute best advice for you here, always select the guided option when it asks. It acts kind of like a digital interview, smoothly prompting you to type in your personal info, choose your exact filing status, and plug in the wages or miscellaneous earnings from those documents we gathered up earlier. It literally asks you plain language questions to help you find eligible deductions and credits. Once that's done, you'll review a summary to catch any typos, and then finalize the e-file by verifying your identity. Usually that just means entering your previous year's AGI, a 5-digit PIN, or your state driver's license info. Now, as you're going through that guided deduction process, you want to pay really close attention to your dependents. For the 2021 tax year, the South Carolina dependent exemption amount is exactly $4,300. That is a substantial deduction allowed for each eligible dependent, and yes, that includes both qualifying children and relatives. Making sure you claim this properly is an absolutely crucial step to maximizing your refund or minimizing what you owe. Don't leave that money on the table.
Section 4. Troubleshooting common issues.
I cannot stress this enough. If you use a software vendor that hasn't been approved by the South Carolina Department of Revenue, your return is going to be automatically rejected. The state system is physically unable to accept it. That means your return basically goes completely unfiled, and they won't even start processing your refund until you start all over and resubmit through an approved channel. Always verify your software on the state's approved list before you type in a single number.
Another massive headache taxpayers run into is identity theft and security lockouts. The state is very clear that fighting fraud is their absolute highest priority. But, you can do your part too by following some super simple cybersecurity best practices sourced right from the state's own guidelines. First, use a solid password manager to create unique, highly encrypted passwords for your tax portals. Please never reuse your email password for your tax software. Also, a surprisingly common reason returns get rejected, a simple typo. Triple check that the social security number or ITN you typed in perfectly matches your physical card. Literally one wrong digit and your entire file comes to a screeching halt immediately.
Section 5. After filing. All right, you've hit submit. What's next? Well, whether you print it out or generate it digitally through your software, you must save a complete copy of your SE 1040 for your records. Your software is going to give you an option to view or download a PDF summary. Do it. Download it, save it somewhere incredibly secure, and maybe even print a physical backup if you can. And remember, choosing direct deposit during that checkout process guarantees the absolute fastest processing for your state refund. Just before we wrap this explainer up, I do want to leave you with a really important evergreen disclaimer. Tax laws, deduction amounts, and filing platforms naturally evolve over time. So while this guide gives you a fantastic, solid, structural foundation for filing online for free, you should always verify the latest details with official sources like door.sc.gov or consult a qualified tax professional if your financial situation is particularly complex. Which brings us to our final thought. Just look at the steps we've conquered today. We've gathered our documents, figured out those AGI cutoffs, chosen an approved platform, walked step by step through the software, and locked down our digital security. So I just have one last question to ask. Are you ready to securely file your South Carolina taxes today? With the right tools and this exact roadmap, you are completely capable of taking full control of your financial data, skipping those unnecessary fees, and getting your state refund faster than ever before. You've totally got this.